Alright, so this is Sandy McLean, Daddy-O Fishing, YouTube and TikTok. This is my Vibe Seaghost 110. Got a pretty decent amount of mods on it. I've only had it about a month or so, but I've had people asking how I did, you know, different things, and I wanted to make a video kind of going over my setup and what I've done so far. So I guess we can start at the bottom. So this is a Wave Runner trailer that I took the bunks off of, and I put 3-inch PVC piping, and I still got to replace some of the stuff, and I'm gonna paint it and, you know, clean it and paint it and everything. But I just threw this together so I could haul it to Lake Victor from my last video. But anyway, it's 3-inch PVC, 10-foot sticks. I measured under the bottom of the kayak where the channels are under there. There's channels, and they were, I think they were 13 inches center. So I took and moved the brackets and measured them out in 13-inch centers, so that way when I slide it on there, it sits in these channels here. It starts right there and it goes on up towards the front. But I'm gonna do a little something different with this. But like I said, this was just a quick thrown together thing so I could haul it without throwing it on the, as I didn't want to throw it up there on the top of my Jeep. I could, but it's a lot of energy to do. So I wanted to do this when I got it. So anyway, I had to take a stepper bit and drill through here, and I used a magnetic extension to hold the bolt, and there's a hole drilled in the bottom too. So I used the magnetic extension to hold the bolt, pushed it through here and out this small hole in the bottom. This hole is only this big, so I could get a socket in there to tighten it down. I put new U-bolts on there, but I got the wrong size, so eventually I'll swap them out with, you know, get rid of this gap. Put on new trailer wiring, LED lights, new hub assembly, new complete hub assemblies with bearings. This has the I think it's Dexter axles. They have a Zerk fitting on the end of it, so I got these that they have a little pop out rubber piece, and I can hook up to it and grease them. Put new wheels and tires. I have these ratchet straps. I'm gonna probably do something different at some point. I may, you know, mount me once I get the placement where, you know, I want it strapped at. I'm gonna probably wind up hard mounting something. You know, I got the wiring up here. I just have this is just a little dock line. I need to get another safety strap, and I'm gonna take this off and probably put something different here. Maybe I don't really need a crank, because when the bottom of this is wet, it slides right up on that PVC, and I actually just use this as a handle. Use this as a handle to pull it up whenever as I just kind of, because this will stretch, you know, it's a stretchable deal. So I just push it a little bit off the sand and let it flow out, and then I just take and drag it over and just pull it right up on here with ease. When the bottom's wet, it slides right on this PVC, and then I use that to just quick anchor it onto the trailer so I can get out of the ramp, and then I'll strap it down once I get out of the way, so I'm not holding the ramp down with a little kayak. Let's see, I got a Lowrance HCS Live 7. I have the Burley Pro visor and a ram mount, medium size. This is a little bug. This is a Yak Gadget. Their newer phone holder. Works pretty good. Stretches out, grabs it, and I mean I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, and it holds it, and that thing's pretty big. I guess I could show you, but I was taking, you know, works pretty good. It's a phone holder. Anyway, I did a lot of work to this console because I didn't want to drill holes all in my kayak to mount things, and I needed power for this. I wanted to run lights, and I wanted to have SAE plugs to be able to hook stuff up in. So what I have here is I have a SAE plug here, and I have one here. This one's specifically for the fish finder, and it's on its own fuse system. It's the only thing on that output. I have I guess I should start with that. I have the Yak Power system in here. Get this out of the way. You can see with all my setup, I can still put this bag in there, and I still have plenty of room. I need to do some cable management through here, but this is just for the bow lights. I got green and red bow lights. I have them hooked up to the bow point on my this is a wireless Yak Power switching relay system. I'm not using the stern and midship. I'm not using the stern and midship ports yet. I have this one, number 2's running a couple sockets. I think one socket, and the USB voltmeter deal. This thing here, it's running that, this socket, and these lights here, and the ones inside the console. So that's what's on number 2, and number 1 is just the socket for the fish finder, because I wanted it on its own system. Let me see if I drag this out. I hope you guys can see this good, but all this is a Noco snap top battery box. It's a group 1 or group U1. Let me see if I want to mess this wiring up. But what I normally do is I leave it in there, and I just hook. I have a Noco Genius charging setup. So this right here is kind of how it is. This is supposed to be in here. I just kind of mocked all this up so I could take it out last weekend, but I'm gonna eventually get, I know this looks crazy that the Yak Power input is reversed on the harness that I have. So when you connect it up, you see their black is on this one, so I had to swap my wires around. So that's why this looks suspicious. It's really just negative and positive, you know how it's supposed to be, but the way that this Amazon little cable that I bought to go into it is not, it's not the same. But yeah, this is the Yak Power system. This thing is really cool. You can actually see it back here. This is the controller for it. I'll show you how that works in a minute. But I just kind of have everything, loose for the most part, because I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do things. I have another one of the USB sockets with the voltmeter, and I want to potentially mount it to this, so that way I can have a readout straight at the battery, and then have a couple extra sockets for, you know, whatever. I already have it, so I might as well figure out a way to use it. But Anyway, that's how I have the batteries set up. Once I get this closed. And what I do is I just take it and slide it back there. And I have a bungee for the time being. And just slide it back like that. And I always grab these wires because this Noco box has channeling for a harness to come out of it. See how the lid's closed, but I can still move these wires like that because there's a gap for that. That's why I like this box, because I can actually put all these out and they can just hang, and then I can grab, let's see if I get my little T-Rex arms in there. Grab that. It's kind of hard to do this because this strap, this little bungee is almost too short. And I just take and hook it up like that. You know, not trying to set any land speed records on it, but I mean it'll hold it from going anywhere for the time being. I'm gonna eventually do something different, but this was, like I said, a lot of this stuff was just thrown together. This is, you know, these are just labels from where I was doing the wiring so I could keep track with what harness needed to go to what. And this here, these are just jumped together. I just have them teed together and they go out on this one harness. Anyway, I'm going to take my battery out in a minute anyway. But this is the... Feel free to ask me about any of this stuff in particular, but this is, I think, it's called Boat On. It's Amazon stuff. They work good. I drilled a small... I didn't want, like I said, I didn't want to drill any holes in my kayak any more than I had to. So these are 3M taped on. You can't tell because it's nasty. I didn't get a chance to clean it after the get this little bit of residue off. But I took and run a little bead of silicone up under the edge on the top and the bottom just to kind of give it a little bit of structure. Drilled a small hole here for the harness to go out. I did that on both of them. Got my registration, you know, because I have a motor on it, so I got those from a company off eBay. They're not bad. They kind of match the vibe one. Like I said, this is socket for that. I got my GoPro mount. This is the one you guys saw my Hero 7 Black mounted on, which it's that over there, but this is the one that was mounted doing the crotch shots, which I apologize for, but I thought it would be a good angle and I wanted to be able, you know, to see. But anyway, I'll probably still use it some. This right here, you know, the old head mount, you know. This thing right here is really cool. A lot of people think it's stupid, but I have problems with my neck and my back, so I can't really twist and tweak as much as I used to be able to. So with this, especially having the motor being able to just kind of zip around, I wanted to be able to see behind me to make sure nothing was, you know, just to generally watch behind me to see if somebody's coming, see if I'm floating into something, see if you know, whatever, you know. I just wanted to be able to see. That's a Yak Gadget side mirror. So this is Yak Gadget, that's Yak Gadget, that's a Yak Attack GoPro mount. This is really cool. This is Yak Attack, obviously. It's their dual roto grip. So I put my paddle in here, and then I put my GoPro mount. This is the GoPro mount. This is Yak Gadget. This is Yak Attack. GoPro mount. This is really cool. This is Yak Attack, obviously. It's their dual roto grip. So I put my paddle in here, and then I put the Omega Pro rod holder on top of it because it has a feature where you can mount your Omega Pro right onto it. So instead of having a separate rod holder right here chewing up space on my channel, I can mount it right here, so I can put both of these on one small mount area. And then I have this right here. This thing's really cool if you guys don't know. Pretty awesome. You can just pull it and whatever, you know, and you can move it around. It's got a little button back there. You just snatch it off. But it has this little, you see it pop up? This little button, if you hit it, it pops it out of this one groove and lets you rotate it, and then when you let it go, it drops back down in there into the cog. So I use this actually a lot because being new, I wasn't sure how I wanted everything to be placed and what was going to be in my way and what wasn't. And the way I had originally had this, it was in my way, and it was awkward to get at. So anyway, I've moved it. So what I did is I just reached up there, hit the button. Now it's moved, you know. I'm like, oh, I don't really like it at that angle. Let me just, oh, there it goes. You know, it's pretty nice. This whole little setup's not super cheap, but it's, you know, I'm a firm believer in the buy once, cry once motto. So I didn't buy the best of everything, but for the most part, what I got was pretty good stuff, and I thought it would be good to have. But I'm going to rotate this out of the way so I can show you this here. This is the wireless control for the Yak Power system. You hit it once, you hit it again, and you can see all these are white. You may not be able to see them, but see them, they're all white. And with that, you can hit, well, I gotta turn it back on. All right, you can hit that, and when it turns red, that circuit's on. So 1 and 2's on. You can see the lights in the bow. I don't have anything on the midship or stern. But yeah, these little things, man, they're bright, and all the LEDs work on them. I mean, I'm an electronics technician, so I mean, honestly, if it were to go out, it's not really worth my time. But I mean, realistically, if I wanted to, I could replace these whole LEDs with better quality ones that I wouldn't have to worry about. But those seem fine for the money. So I have this, got this powered on, running 13 volts. Got a power delivery port, 2 3.0 quick charge ports. I'm gonna probably, once it gets summertime, because I'm heavy and I don't like to burn up if I can help it, probably gonna run a USB fan. Probably gonna mount something right here, and maybe not that high because I don't want to block this guy, but probably some little sort of a fan just to kind of kick some air whenever, you know, you all know what it's like to sit out on the water and it's just dead heat and there's no wind at all, and you're just cooking. So I wanted to have an option for that. That's one of the things. Also being able to charge my devices, my phone. I could plug the GoPro into it. It's pretty nice. Also giving me, you know, while I'm sitting here, I can see the voltage all the time on my battery, so I can make sure I'm not about to kill it. But also the fish finder does that too. But anyway, it's nice. It's just got a little push button. That's what I like about some of these newer ones. A lot of the older ones, they don't have an on-off button, and then they're just on. This one I can turn it on and off, switch it. Has this little waterproof cover. I don't know how waterproof it is. I haven't doused it in water, but it's cheap enough. If it does, it's on its own fuse. It can get smoked, and I'll buy another one. This is another SAE port. I'm probably gonna take, and if I get into start night fishing or afternoon fishing where I might need a light, I'm gonna probably, I have a floodlight spotlight type deal, a pod light from my Jeep, I have an extra one. I'm probably going to put another SAE cable on it, and I'm going to probably find a way to mount it to this gear track right here. I'll probably stick it, you know, I'll probably stick it right here, and I'll run a little cable over there and plug it in as I need it. Like I said, the Yak Gadget phone mount. This right here are the free flow foot pedals. These are really cool. I have plantar fasciitis, so I didn't want to have to keep bending the top of my feet to use the original pedals to steer the Bixby system. So I got these. They work. They take a little bit of getting used to, because what'll happen is you'll have your foot resting on it and you'll be trying to move the other one, and you're fighting it, but it's in all reality it's your foot holding against it. So when you try to push this, you don't get this one to move because your foot's against it. So be mindful of that. If you're sitting here fighting them like you saw in my original video, you see me sitting there pushing on them hard because I was an idiot and had my foot resting on them and it wasn't wanting to move. So just be mindful of that. These are really cool because they have the adjustment cogs here. So you can lift this up and undo it, and then you can crank it on the fly. So it's really nice. But the only thing I don't like about these, and I really wish that there was some other way that they could do this, because this is really freaking aggravating, because I have a wide foot. So my foot, let's just say my foot's as wide as my hand, which it is very much so. So when I put my hand here like this, it hits this button. Well, guess what happens when you hit that button? It locks your pedal and it won't move. They need to do something different. That's the only gripe. I like they feel good. They're soft. I didn't have any slipping problems. They work fairly well. The adjustment's nice, but this right here, man, we got to do something different about that. Move it over here or something. I don't know, but it can't be right there. You can't put the lock right next to where I'm putting pressure at to lock the dang pedals in place. That doesn't make sense to me. I get it's probably convenient that it's right here next to the rail and you just put your little L and that's that, but that's aggravating. I fought with that. You can even see it in my video several times where I have to reach down there and fiddle with that because I've pushed it closed and I can't move the pedals. That's a problem. So anyway, this right here, I have, like I said, I didn't want to drill holes in the kayak, so I mounted everything I could to this replaceable lid. This thing's like $100, so now I have none of these holes in my kayak. Instead, I mounted the port here, the charging thing here, the voltmeter, my socket, my wiring. I've got to do some cable management. I'll show you guys probably a more in-depth video. Just stay tuned for that, and let me know if you guys would like to see that, a more in-depth video on the wiring. But on this, I have one small hole down in the corner of the inside of the console. So everything that's powered on this whole area is ran through one small, I think it was like the bit, I think it was the bit after 1/8. It was just big enough to put, I put 4 wires through it, because I brought the power in for the fish finder socket, so that needed 2 wires for port number 1 on the relay system, and then I needed 2 more wires to run the lights and these sockets here. So I only have 4 wires coming into this console area, and they run through a really small hole that's inside of the kayak, inside of a watertight compartment. So that's the way I figured out how to do it. This right here, this is a really, I have an active imaging 3-in-1 transducer. It's huge. This is the transducer cable. This is the transducer cable. and I tried to fit it down in the cavity for the transducer to go in, but that wasn't working. I couldn't figure out a way to smush or coil it or wrap it in any way I could get it all in there appropriately. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just pull it out here. I have it zip tied in a bundle. I have the power wire zip tied. They are also heat shrunk, and you can see it's that watertight heat shrink. It has like a little glue in it, so when you heat it up and it shrinks down, it also liquefies this glue type deal, and it seals the ends. It's pretty decent. So I have that. That's the power wire and all that. And then this is just zip tied to these eyelets right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but let me look. Maybe you guys can see it, but I have a Burley Pro. I have the Burley Pro transducer mount for the active imaging 3-in-1 transducer. They're a company out of Australia, so it was hard getting it here because I could have ordered it from them, I think, but I wound up finding one on eBay. The guy had 2 of them, and I got one of them. All it does is it takes, and the transducer mounts to a plate, and then the plate mounts to where your original, if you guys have a Seaghost 110 or a Seaghost 130 or whatever, they have a cavity that has a cap on it. I say a cap, as a plate that you can mount your transducer to, and then, or you can mount your transducer up in this hole and then put this plate on it to cover it. Well, you can't put the active imaging transducer in that hole. It's this long. So this one, you mount it to this plate that would have screwed to cover up that cavity. So you screw that down, and then you have this hard, I don't want to call it plastic, but I guess it's probably some sort of fiber reinforced plastic, but it goes and covers your transducer. But the only problem with that is it sticks out. You know, you're gonna stick out. It's gonna stick out this much. So with this PVC rail system, I don't have to worry about that, because like I said, they're spaced out, and that thing's center, you know, back up under that scupper hole. So when I pull it on this PVC, it just slides right up, and it doesn't get near it. So I got the deck matting. This right here, I just keep odds and ends in. I got these right here from a guy in one of the groups. They're seat risers. I wanted to take it out the first time how it normally would be, so I could see the difference, but I'm gonna put these on. I'm gonna have to do some sanding or something, because they do not want to fit on there, and I put a pretty good bit of pressure and they were getting hot, and I was like, nope. So I'm gonna have to do something different with that. I got a little Amazon lightning cable charging thing, and then my Bixby dielectric grease. I normally have a couple other things in that hole. I'm gonna have to move this probably so I can open it. All right, so I got my Kershaw little cutters. This right here, I almost thought I screwed up, because when I got to the lake, I said, oh crap, I don't have the kill. This is a kill switch for the Bixby. It won't work. See how you got the light now? If you pull that off, that battery will shut down, and you're gonna be dead in the water. So if you forget this, you're gonna have a bad time. This is the controller for it. I don't really like this. As you can see in my first video, you're sitting there, click, 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 click. There needs to be something, I don't know of a way to do it other than having like a throttle, but this whole click, 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 click thing is aggravating, because I know they changed it on the newer one, but we need to be able to get this on the smaller battery system. Like, I get they put an extra speed and the quick touch, you know, the double tap, you know, to go full throttle deal, but we need some sort of update on this, the smaller battery, because I love this thing, but man, it's inconvenient to sit here and click, 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 click. I would like to just be able to just double tap it, go full speed, shoot across to where I want to go, hit the stop button, put it in reverse a little bit to slow me down so I can ease into my spot where I want to go, and then hit the stop button, and that be that. But anyway, if they update that for us with a smaller battery, that would be cool. I would enjoy it a lot more. This right here, you can't really see, but I have these lights inside here as well, and there is no extra holes. Let me get some of my stuff out of the way for y'all. Gotta have your safety stuff. But this one's shorter, so I used it inside of here. All this is an LED undercar kit. It's got it has a Y part. So what it is you have a longer and a short piece on one little cable, and then you have another long and a short piece on another piece of cable, and they each have a connector at the end of them, a watertight connector. And what they do is that runs to the control box, and the control box has a Y connection at the end of it, so you can plug both of them. You can plug each set into it, and you can power them from that control box with one input power. So what I did is I wired up the control box and just used one of the pigtails that comes off of the control box, and these guys are hooked together. So all I had to do was figure out a way to run the wires for them, and it's not perfect. I may wind up notching it out, but what I have is it just kind of runs up right here, and it goes under that seal right there, and the other one actually stays inside because the harness is inside of here. So I only have this one, this outside one, running in, I believe. I could be wrong. No, I have both because the way it worked. But anyway, it's the same on the other side. I just have this little wire running in here, and I haven't had any issues, and I've looked at it, and it's not really damaging it. I got these, I think they're like $30, but what I liked about them is they have the app, so I can change the colors or whatever with the app. And then you have all your different colors. You can you make them flash, make them strobe. You can speed it up. But anyway, I pretty much just keep it on the this kind of sea foamy bluish green deal. They're dimmable, so for all you guys that would like to use them and you don't want to be blinded, you can still turn them down to where you can just see a little bit to, you know, rig up something. But they'll once you get to the end, see how it flashes like that? That lets you know that you're at your max brightness. It's just kind of a way to let you know what's going on. But they automatically come on when I switch that power system on. I got some cheap Ozark Trail little pliers and a Cast King. I got a Cast King, there it is. Little gripper. But that's pretty much all that's going on in there so far. Good buddy Justin hooked me up with these last time we were fishing. The dude's he's good, man. Knows his stuff. It's shown me a lot so far. You actually Well, I don't know if I had that much in my last video, but I actually